Wow, new warning out about cruise food. Maybe you want to stop eating this right now. We've got cruisers sick across multiple cruise ships. And Royal Caribbean, they've made a mistake. They made a mistake and they're trying to fix it with freebies. Take a freebie. Would this placate you? Interesting story. All that and more. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Little Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here to talk you through everything going on in cruising. It's a cruise show. It's for your face. For your face on a Thursday the 22nd. The 22nd of May, 2025. And this first story is concerning because it's a story about a salmonella outbreak on both land and sea. And it's something that already happened and may be continuing. The way they figured this out is through reverse engineering. What we know so far is that the CDC has determined that there has been a salmonella outbreak starting in late March and carrying all the way through May. And it took them all the way to May 20th to do a recall on the food that they identified as the food that was carrying the salmonella. The sickness data is this. During that time period, they found that 551 people got sick in 34 states, and 7 of those people got sick directly linked to being on 5 different cruise ships. Now, they didn't tell us which cruise ships or which cruise lines or anything like that, but they did tell us about the offending food. It's the common cucumber. That's right. People went on a cruise ship. They bypassed the pizza. They bypassed the burritos. They bypassed the hamburgers. They went healthy, got themselves some cucumbers, and 7 of them got the salmonella. And for all of you people that may be out there trading in cucumbers, the 2 companies that you're looking for the recall are the Bedner's Farm Fresh Markets and the Fresh Start Produce Sales. Those are the 2 companies where the cucumbers were linked back to that have the salmonella, and that recall went into effect on May the 20th. Now, I don't know what the shelf life of all cucumbers are, but that seems like we should be maybe out of the batch of bad cucumbers, and hopefully that's the case. But a warning nonetheless, if you're on a cruise ship, you may be wary of the cucumbers presently, or if you're out and about, you may be wary of cucumbers. The cucumbers done got the cruise lines and the people on land in a pickle. I never thought I'd be making a cucumber joke, but you can just deal with it, I guess. Cruise story number 2 takes us to a land down under. Takes us off the coast of Australia, where the Carnival Splendor has sprung into action to save some seafarers that were having a hard time with their catamaran. Not only were people saved, but also dogs. We've got 2 couples, we got 4 people together, and 3 dogs being saved from turmoil by the efforts of the Carnival Splendor. The couples and the dogs were on a catamaran that left the Gold Coast on May the 14th. They were heading to Fiji. They ran into bad weather and rough waters. The main mast broke and the engine broke. Oh boy, that sounds like a fun time at sea. So they were basically adrift at sea. Carnival Splendor responding to their distress call. They brought them on board. They gave them water. They gave them medical attention. They gave them assistance getting to safety. And I'll say it, in a world full of bad news, it's fun when there is a good news story, and even better when there is a fun good news story accompanied by a great picture. Here's a picture of those rescued, canine and human, along with the captain of the vessel, proving once again that not all heroes wear capes. Story number 3, MSC Cruise Line has made a big announcement when it comes to specialty dining, and it's an announcement that I am excited for. They are simplifying the prices of their specialty dining. And so sometimes when you do specialty dining on a cruise ship, they have a set menu where you can pay a single price and get like an appetizer, an entree, and dessert. But then if you don't want to do that, there's often a la carte pricing, and that can be confusing. I can't remember. I don't know if I've ever been on a specialty dining restaurant on MSC, so I'm not sure what the old system is, but they are announcing that there is a new system with a simplified pricing plan that will be just that. You'll go to a specialty dining restaurant. They will have a set price for almost everything on the menu, which will include an appetizer, an entree, and dessert. There may be some elevated dishes like Wagyu beef, I'm sure some forms of seafood, might have a different a la carte pricing, but for the most part, they're going to have this simplified pricing for their specialty dining. And then the other big announcement going in conjunction with the simplified pricing is that they will be having specialty dining packages. So if you want to do multiple specialty dining, you can get a discount by bundling all that together. And of course, like most things on a cruise ship, if you want to book that prior to your cruise, you can save even more money. Yeah, you know, I really probably should go on MSC and try some of the specialty dining. I haven't really done that. I don't know. Have you? Do you know what the specialty dining's like on MSC? What's your favorite one out there? Yeah, leave a comment below. Now, before we get to the next cruise news story, I do want to circle around to the big question from yesterday. I asked, what band that you can no longer see in its original form would you like to see in its original form? And a lot of great answers out there. I did put some choices down there, and I'm a little sad that one of my choices wasn't chosen that much. I put Milli Vanilli down there. I thought many of us would love to see Milli Vanilli in its original form, but then maybe I thought that was confusing. So would you want to see the Milli and the Vanilli? Of course, one of the guys passed away, sadly. Would you want to see them, or would you want to see the people that were actually singing? I don't know. I'm in love with you, boy. Or girl. What's it? I'm in love with you, girl. I don't even remember those Milli Vanilli songs. Now I got to look one up. Hold on. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. Shout out. Shout out Ludacris. Of course, he didn't write it nor sing it, and neither did they, for the most part. All right, the next cruise story is this. Numbers coming out of Galveston, Texas regarding the amount of cruisers that will sell on Carnival Cruise Line this summer. Close to 240,000 travelers. Man, deep in the heart of Texas, on the coast of Texas, is Galveston, Texas. South of Houston, I think. I mean, Houston's up here, Galveston's down there. A lot of people are cruising out of Galveston, and I think I know more and more Texas cruisers as time goes by. And Carnival certainly making a big play there. We talked about the new Margaritaville at Sea ship coming out, the Fortuna. And didn't that almost sound like something to do with tuna fish? Fortuna. I don't think it's going to be called Margaritaville at Sea Fortuna. It's going to have a different name. I speculated that maybe it'll be at one of the bigger ports in Florida, hopefully Port Canaveral. But it would be cool if they took a spot in Galveston because, you know, what I know about the Margaritaville at Sea Islander, which I had a blast on, I think Texas cruisers would love the vibe, would love the Jimmy Buffett vibe. So, yeah, I don't know. Fingers crossed. Could we see that Galveston get the Margaritaville at Sea next ship? Maybe, maybe not. But if not, Carnival's sure putting a lot of people on their cruise ships this summer. Are you cruising out of Texas this summer? Where are you going? What ship? Is it Carnival? Leave a comment below. Now, I do have an interesting story coming out of Juneau, Alaska. We talked, I think it was just yesterday, about how the local initiative by the people, I don't know what the organization's called, but it should be called the People That Don't Want Cruise Ships in Juneau. They could not get enough signatures to even get it on the ballot where people could vote to keep cruise ships out of Juneau. So sad for them. And it seemed like a boon, seemed like a great day for cruise ships. Well, guess what the town council did? The Juneau Assembly unanimously approved a change on Monday that would essentially double how much cruise ships have to pay to dock in Juneau. So you get the good news that you're not being restricted, but now here comes the assembly that says, look, we used to charge you docking fees based on the dimensions of your cruise ship. How long, how wide, the volume. Actually, I think it's just two things. I think it used to just be tonnage and length. And that's how they would do the you owe us $4,000 to dock here. Well, now they've decided they're going to do it by passenger count. And by just changing from the tonnage and the length calculation to the passenger count calculation, it's going to cost cruise ships almost double. The fees are going to go from like $2.5 million a year to $5 million a year, which is going to be great for Juneau. That means they're going to get more money. They're going to get a lot more money, but it's going to suck for cruise operators. And look, if it sucks for cruise operators, you know who else it's going to suck for? Cruisers, because they're going to pass those costs on to us. I do love the quote by the Juneau Visitor Director, Alex Pierce. She said that we know our rates are definitely low compared to the private docks here, and that other ports in the region are also looking at the fee structure. She's also been asked, do you think the cruise lines are going to be upset about it? And she said, well, I don't expect there to be much pushback because we've been talking about it for a while. So they should have seen it coming. It's going to be interesting to see the cruise lines' response to this. I love going to Alaska. It's already expensive. And now if it costs double to dock in Juneau, which is almost on every, Alaska itinerary, then that means Alaska cruise prices will be going up. Like everything else. There you go. Juneau got to get that bag, y'all. All right, now I got 2 Royal Caribbean stories for you, and one of them is an interesting way that Royal Caribbean's trying to cover up their mistake. And again, I don't know if it'll sway people, but before we get to those 2 stories, let's take a break. Let's take a dance break. Get up. Get up. There we go, a little electro pop for today's music and juggling selection. That was called Never Enough by Flyin'. And well, Never Enough, probably apropos for the next cruise news story, the world's largest cruise ship to be, talking about Royal Caribbean's Star of the Seas, set to set sail in August. And candidly, that's the next cruise that I have scheduled, the first sailing in August of Star of the Seas. Well, it's getting closer to being a reality for all of us paying passengers because they're doing their sea trials. Sea trials, a big part of the shipbuilding process. It's where the cruise ship goes out into the water and they're tested. It's taken through the paces, determine whether it's seaworthy, whether all systems are go, whether it's functional. A lot of times this is done even before, like, say, all the decorating and stuff is finished. This sea trial is going to be an 11-day voyage with around 2,000 passengers, testers, specialists, that kind of thing. It's going to go out for 11 days, do its trials, and then come back and get the finishing touches at the shipyard in Finland, being built by Meyer Turku. So Star of the Seas getting closer to its August launch, and dang it, I'm excited about it. Now let's talk about the oopsie that Royal Caribbean has made. Guests that are booked on the June the 2nd sailing of the Navigator of the Seas, a 4-night sailing from the San Pedro port there at Los Angeles to Catalina and Ensenada. Guests are being notified, and it's like one of those like short form videos that you see. This video is for so-and-so. If this is not you, scroll away. Well, it's funny. The email is kind of, worded like, hey, guest on this sailing coming up, do you have some flexibility in your travel plans? If you do, read on for a great offer. If you don't, just ignore this email and we'll see you on the ship. That's a fun approach, but what's behind this email? They overbooked the ship, and Royals, they've kind of been doing this from time to time where they sell more cabins than they have. So we got more people wanting to sail on this June the 2nd sailing than they have cabins for. And so they're trying to ease the pain. They're saying, hey, if you're somebody that has some flexibility, boy, do we have a deal for you. One of the deals is you can move it to another date for the same sailing for Navigator of the Seas, and you're going to get everything for free. You're going to get a refund for the June the 2nd that's overbooked, and you're going to get that next cruise for free, which is pretty good. Or if you don't want to sail on the Navigator of the Seas, the 4-day sailing at another time, you can get a full refund and you can get the equivalent of what you spent for a future cruise credit that you can use on any other sailing. So they are really trying to grease the wheels here to fix their overbooking issue, which that's what you got to do. Like, what are the other options? I love the fact that they're like, okay, we overbooked the thing. Now we're going to give out some free money, some free cruises. And I don't really think it hurts them, right? The fact that they're able to book at 100% plus capacity means that there's such a high demand that they probably are making some, good jack to where when they make a mistake or two like this, they can pay it off. I don't know. What would you do in this circumstance? I think if I got an email like that and I had the flexibility, I would definitely take my money back and the equivalent money for free. 100%. I would be too sweet. I'd be quick. Are you like that at the airport? You ever see anybody like hold out where they're like, we need 3 people to take a later flight. We're giving $400. I've seen people go up and negotiate that. Like, if you give me $1,000, I'll miss this flight. What do you think? The big question of the day is this: what on a cruise would you be most disappointed to find out was unavailable? I'll leave some selections down below, like all of a sudden they're out of alcohol, or you can't get pizza, or the pools are closed. I'll leave some choices below. Please participate in the show. I love reading those comments. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. Make sure you check out the recommended video next. YouTube, they don't think you've seen it. And then you can subscribe for more. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.